Welcome to the show today. It's Friday, October 19th, 2018. I'm Terry Combs with Equipment Zone, and you can also find me at terrycombs.com.
And I'm Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me at aaronmontgomery.info. Today, Terry and I are at separate hotel rooms in Las Vegas, Nevada, and so we're going to see how we do today. Been fingers crossed that we both have good hotel internet service here. We've got Eric waiting in the background to save our bacon in case we need him. And so anyhow, got a great program today, Terry. Even though we're coming to you live from SGIA, we're not talking about SGIA yet. We'll kind of recap that next week a little bit. But we're going to be talking to some folks that are in Brazil. So we even added another layer of fun onto this. So not only are we doing hotel internet, we're also going outside of the country. And this is going to be exciting. So I've got my notes down below here, so I'm going to read this to you. We're talking to Carolyn Cagle, who is in Blumenau. I think I said that right, and they even helped me, and I may have screwed it up already. Blumenau, Brazil, and working with Vitor of Vitordigitizing. She's been in the embroidery world for 20 years, and we're excited to talk to her and Vitor about her experience down there and working with digitizers outside of the country and all sorts of embroidery stuff today. So it's going to be a great show, Terry.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to doing it. And again, fingers crossed on the internet.
Yeah, in fact, we got the words of wisdom from Andrea Bomarito at ZSK, another embroidery person in our life. And we can't share what she said, but so hopefully she's catching us live here, and that'll be good.
We'll do our best not to mess this up, Andrea.
yeah, definitely. All right. Well, at the end of the show, I'm going to bring you guys 5 things. And the 5 things this week are going to be 5 things that any marketing message must have.
Must in all caps, absolutely. Hey, thanks, thanks everybody for listening. We are really pleased to bring you this show since February 2013. We're in our 6th season, and as always, we try to avoid those rants and lectures or selling. We just want to bring you great content, and we would love to have you visit our webpage, which is 2 regularguys.com. Check out all the show notes, and we'll have notes about today's show as well. And we're always looking for suggestions and ideas for future shows. You can do that by going to our Contact Us page at 2regularguys.com. You can also find us all over social media, the number 2 Regular Guys. And if you are watching the live video via Facebook right now, we'd love to have your comments, your questions, your insights, and be a part of the show. And Aaron, now let's hear a word from SGIA. The expo is going on right now, so let's hear a word from our sponsor, SGIA. All right. Well, Carolyn Cagle spent 15 years in the graphic and print industry before going to work in the family decoration business, which is 46 years in operation doing embroidery and screen printing, where she learned the ropes from her mother and brother. She started a custom mitten business in 2004 and continues with that work, as well as working on custom small run embroidery and custom pieces in her home studio. Vitor has been in the industry since 1994, starting at the age of 14, running multi-head embroidery. And in 2001, he started a small embroidery shop and with a friend to begin digitizing, working long hours. We know that is part of the deal at his own to teach himself. In 2003, he found his first client outside of Brazil and continues to digitize for clients all over the world. And Vitor now has 3 single head machines running samples and small local orders, and stays busy helping embroiderers and digitizers by teaching through his Facebook groups. So Carolyn, how is it that an embroiderer from Minnesota decides to fly down to Brazil, and what are you doing there now, and how did this all start?
Well, I met him 5 years ago when I was looking for a new digitizer. And I saw him in the Facebook groups. And so I started sending him work, and we started establishing a nice, fun back and forth banter and relationship. And I really liked working with him. And it was helping him with being able to describe how to communicate with people better. And so then through a conversation, I said, well, I should just come down there sometime and just help you work. And he said, okay. And so, that's how it happens. So with a little bit of time and some savings on the side, and then being able to put my work aside for a little bit, I flew down, and I've been here I got here the 2nd. I leave on Monday. It's been a great time. I've learned a ton of stuff. I hope I've been helpful to him, and he's been helpful to me. And I've enjoyed it. It's a wonderful country. I highly recommend anyone visiting here.
This is actually the kind of vacation that that all of us take. It's always a working vacation, a working trip, right?
There's no lying on the beach, and there might be a few carparinas, but that's okay.
Oh, those are delicious.
I'm all about that.
Yeah, you mentioned the fun relationship that you guys had there, and before the show, we had an opportunity to talk to you guys a little bit, and definitely sounds like you guys are having a ton of fun there. So, not all work all the time.
No, not all work all the time. No, he has a daughter that is my interpreter, my pocket interpreter, and very good English. So it's helpful that way. So we've been. Right now, the festival for Oktoberfest is here,
Yeah.
So it's huge. So you should tell them about Oktoberfest and how important it is.
Okay, my English is bad. Okay, but Oktoberfest starts because we got a few years ago a bad flood, flood?
Flood.
So the city created this big part, to try make money for recovery city, So the party work very nice, so they think, okay, next year we'll do again. So next year do again. So now Oktoberfest from Blumenau is second most bigger.
Yeah, the largest event in beer for
of
October.
the world.
Yeah. So that's why I wanted to come to see the embroidery, because I do a lot of cultural embroidery. So.
Oh, very good. And you had mentioned before the show that your community was started by German immigrants, I believe.
Yes. It's a new city because it's very new city.
Yeah.
I think don't have 200 years,
Yeah.
But basically, it starts by textile industry,
Yeah, by
strong
yeah.
textile industry. Yeah.
Textile industry is
German
huge.
people, yeah.
From the in fact, there's we took a tour of the herring museum yesterday, and they made linens and T-shirts. So that was like in early 1800s.
More than 100 years.
Yeah, 100. Yep, 100 years ago.
Yeah.
So that was real interesting. So I'll put that on the embroidery group. Take a look at that too.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Well, good. Let's speaking of the embroidery group, let's get back to a little bit more embroidery stuff here. Put the vacation aside for 1 second.
Okay.
So, Carolyn, you've been involved in machine embroidery, commercial production, and creating your own fashion pieces. What do you see as the greatest difference you've noticed in the way Vitor's shop in Brazil runs compared to how maybe a shop in the United States, yours might work? Are the processes, materials the same? Are there differences? What can you share with us there?
Well, I've been to a couple of different shops, like 3 or 4, and what I've noticed here is that they do not have the plethora of choices for backings and toppings. Okay. They work mostly with tearaway and cutaway. Two backings. Yeah. They don't have they don't have the sport stuff. They don't have the mesh. Every place that we've toured and I've looked at their embroidery is absolutely spectacular. They don't use salvia is not something that's used a lot here. They have different methods for that. But everything looks good. Pricing is about the same. You have your shops, smaller shops charge more than larger shops. And they also, they work quickly. Everything's hooped, done, and, embroidered quickly. The walk-in shops are nice, very nice. They're very similar to ours. You come in, you got a counter, you can see the equipment.
Uniform companies are different from USA,
Yeah, the uniform companies are different. They work a lot in polyester. They work a lot in, because uniform companies sublimate. They'll sublimate anything you want for your company, like your logo and that sort of thing. They'll sublimate it and then cut and sew the entire garment. They embroider it, they screen print it, they sublimate it, whatever you want done. And they work with small orders. What was the last company was 30 pieces was their minimum?
Yes, minimum.
Yeah, minimum of 30 pieces.
But those start shirts from zero, no?
Right.
You know?
But you
build one shirt, you know?
Yeah, you basically build your shirt.
Yeah.
You walk in there and you pick it right off the rack and build it.
Yeah. You can draw your shirt and they start shirt from zero.
Yeah, you just draw it. You tell them what sizes you need.
Yeah.
You need 30 pieces. And then you show them the art and everything. Vitor does the digitizing for some of these companies, and then they have their files, and then you go in there and they've got, machinery all set up to go.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, we talk a lot on this show about niche markets, and Aaron and I are both very, very strong into everybody should have 1 or 2 or 3 niche markets they sell into. But Vitor, what are the primary markets that you sell into, and what kind of unique niche markets or products makes your shop different?
He's asking you what are the products that make your shop different than from the other shops? What do you specialize in? Here?
I know here in the city we do everything people don't want to do.
Yeah,
they come here and I say yes. Yeah, I want one shirt, 5 embroidery, but one shirt embroidery here, and most of embroidery companies here is big companies, have 4 heads, 10 heads, more 10 heads,
Yeah.
So when they are busy, if you got 5 shirts, they don't stop to make your 5 shirts, So most of people in the city come here because I can stop everything and make 1 shirt, 2 shirts, I think that is different. For sure, my price is different, but like I say, they go for 5, 6 plays and every people say no. When they come here, I can say, oh, yes, I can do. Yeah. So I think that is different from another shops on the city,
So you filled a hole in the marketplace by doing the very, very short runs.
Yes. Because a few years ago we got a lot China brand machines in the city, so everyone buy machines, but people people buy machine, and think, okay, I just press this button and make a lot of money,
Doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
we all know
yeah,
it. We all know you don't press the button to make a lot of money.
And,
there's no magic button on the machine.
No magic button.
The magic money button. All right. Well, if anybody finds that in your travels, yeah, just so you guys know, Christine Shreve from Enmart is joining us here, and she says it's good to be the shop that does things other shops don't want to do, and I think that's a really interesting and good comment, because while there might not be a magic button necessarily, that certainly is a pretty good way to set yourself apart, because if nobody else wants to do it, you can charge whatever you want for it.
Well, and that's true no matter what decoration method that you choose. I always tell my screen printing classes that you should do hats and screen print hats, because all of your competition thinks it's too hard, so they don't bother. And again, Aaron, just like you said, and then you can charge whatever you want to charge.
The one thing about these small run shops, just like I have the same situation, is that the amount of time that you invest in your customer is huge, and so you can't run a shop with 15 heads and then spend 3.5 hours with a customer trying to get a prototype made for them. So when it comes to the short run industry, we're spending a lot more time answering questions.
We stop for clients.
We stop everything and then spend time with them. So our price factor has to be different, because we have to be paid for that time. We're just like rah, 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 rah.
Right.
Absolutely. All right. Well, speaking of pricing, and we've talked a little bit about some of the pricing there and whatnot. Like when you're quoting jobs and stuff there, Victor, what's the difference? How do you I don't know, taking payments, Carolyn, what have you seen that really kind of gives us some difference from what's going on there to what we do, and what maybe can we learn from those things?
She's asking for you?
Yeah, he's asking me about your shop. I've noticed that in his shop and in the shops that I've walked into, almost there's not a lot of cash carried back and forth. It's usually credit or PayPal.
Yeah.
They work on a debit system.
Bank charge,
Bank, yeah. They have a ton of debit card type of situation.
Yeah.
You put it in the machine. Everybody carries this little machine, and that's how they're charged. And then he factors his pricing based on time, materials, and the project, just like we would do. So it varies. You're not going to get this guy that comes in isn't going to get the same price as the next guy based on the project.
Yeah. Sure.
It's quoted by project.
Yeah, by that. Yeah.
By project.
By difficulty and by time you're going to spend in project,
Right.
Because you can. Most of people do okay, I need to get a lot of job running, but charge a little,
Yeah.
So you work, 20 hours a day, and make short money. So stop, shows the 2-3 jobs, do a nice job, and charge more,
Right.
So you work a little less, makes more money, and I think it's important too is invest your money in your embroidery shop. I think most of people here in the city make money on embroidery, but shows buy a nice car, shows buy a house, and forget put money back on embroidery shop. So you need like every day offer something different for client and quality for client. If you got 10 embroidery shops in my city, maybe 9 don't have original software, So, and really we spend a lot of money making welcome original updates, etc. to can offer client quality and security on what I going to deliver for clients.
Right. So what he does is he makes sure that all the money that if he's when he's making money, it's invested back into the business with machinery, programs, materials.
That's important.
Yeah, and he does make sure that he's got his bases covered, and he's got his future. He's always. I noticed about his shop. His shop is not about today, right now. His shop is about what I've got to do for my future. So he continues to grow and grow and grow. Very smart businessman.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, speaking of those smart comments, I just wanted to share some comments that are coming through the Facebook page here. Christine Shreve says, smart advice, be aware that you need to charge enough to cover your expenses. Keep an eye on how much you're doing versus what you're making.
Correct.
So agreement there. Another agreement here. Andrea Bomarito from ZSK says, right on, Vitor, embroidery quality is worth a lot. So
yes, it is.
Totally. And Christine says also good advice about investing in the business. Very smart. So
absolutely.
Everybody's on board. We're winning.
Well, and we've talked about this before on Two Regular Guys, is that it's becoming a short-run world, and people want 3, and they want it now. And thanks to our friends at Amazon, but. So then in the end, it all comes to us being efficient about what we do. So, but Carolyn, I wanted to ask you, how did you come to choose to work with Vitor as a digitizer? And a lot of times people talk about here in the U.S. about quality or meeting expectations when working with digitizers outside of the U.S. So what makes working with Vitor different for you?
What's different with working with him, because I did work with large companies, and I did do a few times where the people send you the email, I'll do this design for free for you or whatever. And this is the thing that I noticed with them is they're not interested. They're interested in production. The reason why I work with Vitor is because of the fact that I can talk to him about what I need, and I can explain to him what I need. And he also understands the the fabrics, and he understands embroidery, and he understands like the different ways you have to do it. But most of all is I have established a communication with him. He never sleeps. A lot of people see that, and so the bane of his existence is the fact that he's easily accessible. But I get things on time. I get things. If I need changes made, I get them made. Not just because he knows me, because I've seen him work for the last 18 days, and he handles all of his customers like that. He gets to them as fast as he can, and he treats each order as that person, not just the order. So it's a better relationship than working with, for me, a large company, because I work with artistic pieces sometimes, and I can't get that across. I can't get that across to a large company to say, this is what I'm trying to, the look that I'm trying to get. So
you can tell me, make a video.
I can call. You can go on Facebook. I can show him pictures. I've showed him videos. I've stitched it out. I've literally stood over my machine and said, this is what is happening. And he says, well, fix that. It might be, he'll ask me about my backing. He'll ask me about the thread that I'm using, the needle that's put in there. And every customer gets this. If you're asking for an edit and you're having issues, they're having issues. And I see him come across, and he says, read this for me and tell me what they're looking for. And I'll say, oh, this is what they're looking for. So then he knows he needs to ask, what's your backing? What's your material? Did you do this? To kind of go over it. And nobody, whether you've been like me embroidering for years or it's your first day, everybody gets the same treatment. Because even somebody that's been embroidering for 20 years, I showed a video the other day of how to hoop a garment correctly. He explains that, because you might have been doing it wrong for 20. Nobody says anything's wrong.
Right.
You've been doing it differently for 20 years, but somebody shows you something and you're like, oh my God. And this is something that he's so helpful with people, the teaching aspect of it. And I think you enjoy that, don't you? You enjoy teaching people?
I like I like share what I know for other people,
Yeah.
By years I look at people, I discovered something new. I'm gonna tell, because but I think if you discover and you share, the other people are gonna try and maybe get something different and gonna share with you too,
Yeah.
So I think that is important, and is because of that,
Yeah.
I got a lot of jobs, because sometimes I am working very busy, but some people, oh my God, I need to finish that tonight, I need help. So I stop everything, get file, put my machine, make a test. Okay, you need to fix that, send back, and I don't charge. People, you're not gonna, no,
Yeah.
I don't need, because you don't ask me for charge you or something like that. You just ask for help, So I think that is nice. I think we have a lot very nice digitizer around the world. I think we have lot digitizer is better than me around the world. Nice companies, but I think sometimes companies forget client have embroidery machine, but maybe he never run embroidery machine before. So you need to explain basically like how hoop, how put a bag,
There's
so
a lot of walkthrough for people.
I think that is more important. You make it maybe a lot of money, So I think maybe because of that, I have Caroline today here, because friendship I make for her, So I think that is more important than any money,
Yeah.
I think client respect. I think is first thing you need to give for client. And if I get feedback from client and say, design is don't work, is bad, okay. First thing I do, I send money back, and I got file fixed for him,
Yeah. So he's very he's customer conscious, very customer conscious. He wants you to be able to run your job and make your profit, and then order more jobs. But he helps. He's a great teaching tool.
Well, sounds like it's all about relationships.
Exactly. It's important.
Yeah.
Yes.
Friendship first. Yeah.
Yeah. It's important.
So Vitor, how did you start? How did it come about that you started looking for business outside of Brazil?
It's nice story because few years ago I am not working really, and the internet. Oh my God, what are you gonna do? So I found embroidery forum, in Argentina, and I type something like that. I do digitize by $5.
He did the classic.
I start everything,
You did the classic.
So,
$5, I'll do it.
So one guy is manager of a big embroidery company. I think in Fort Lauderdale. Call me and put a Brazilian in conference too, and he said, "Oh, okay, I can try designs." You say, "Oh, it's okay." And I did first digitize, and he liked it. Other day he sent 3, other day 5, and start. So I start making nice money because dollar is more than
It's more. Yeah. Our dollar is worth more than his dollar.
Brazilian money. Yeah. So I start making nice money, and I start to look for more jobs outside Brazil. So today I have like maybe in my city 10 clients for digitizer, and for USA maybe I have a list of 1,000 clients, because I think it's more easy work people in USA than in Brazil. Yeah.
It's easier to work with
Because
us in his own country.
They can come in my house.
Yeah, then it can come to your house.
We do have listeners in Brazil.
Now I know where you live.
No, but just to remember, I need to say thank you every day for our people, our clients outside of Brazil, because maybe it's hard. You send a job for another country, you have people in your country do some I do, So I need to say thank you every day because people trust in my work, send work for me, and I don't live in USA. So I think that's very nice, and I so thank you for that,
Yeah.
So I think what I do for help and groups and everything is just a little bit from what guys do for me for long years,
Yeah.
Everything I have now, a good school for my dog, a house to live, and everything. I need to say for sure my work, but most of people trust me and send work for me, and people is very nice because if you you're not perfect, you make mistakes every time, and people is very nice because they don't go for internet. Vitor is make a bad design, No, people call me. I try fix file. If not, I put money, and it's nice. And when embroidery get nice, people shout, "Oh, Vitor did that for me." It's okay.
He's done the classic. He's done the classic. Excuse me for interrupting. He's done that classic of the customer service and then word of mouth. He has his internet, but he has his group. There's different groups that he belongs to. He's a regular contributor on Facebook. You can see him on there, and that's how I found him. So in the embroidery group, and so it's just been this steady growth through word of mouth and sharing.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's a great story. I mean, Terry and I here at SGIA, I've listened to a couple speakers here, and I think that's what the common thread is it's about the people, it's about the relationships, it's about kind of making the friendships, and obviously you guys have a great friendship over this business relationship, which has turned into a little bit more of a personal friendship too, and that's really awesome. We've enjoyed watching you guys interact here. So Carolyn, I want to ask you a question first, and then I'll ask a similar question. Vitor, so this experience, you said you've been there since the 2nd. What have you taken from this? What are you going to be able to take back home with you that maybe is going to make some changes in your business?
Communication. I've been here for this time, and I see that imagine this: you get information from a client, and they hand it to you because they've been at where they are, and they've drawn out their sketch, and they come to your shop, and they say, "Hey, I want to do this. I want to make this patch, this logo, etc." So now you're going to take this. You really need to be able to interpret that in a very good format for your digitizer, because now you've got a person that English is their second language, and obviously they're one step ahead of us because they have one more language added. But if you can't understand what you got from your customer, don't send that here, because that is like I'm looking at some of the stuff like, holy cow, I have to sit down and dissect it. So my feeling is this: when I go home, I myself am going to be more conscientious about how I bring my product to him to get a result that doesn't end up in 10 edits or 3 because A, that's time for you, B, that's time for him, C, that's time for your customer, because now you're showing your customer something and they're like, oh, that's not what I was thinking. So I think that clarity and having a system and sharing that system with your digitizer and paying attention to the digitizer's request. Like when you go on their website, if they need something in a JPEG, or if they need something, that's what you send them, because you're going to get your result cleaner, faster, and you're going to make it, the ultimate result is your customer. The end result is not about him or I. It's all about our customer. So that's the biggest thing, is the ability to send your design over and have it as clean and clear as possible. Yeah, all the way down the line.
Nice. Yep. Okay. Well, that's great. Great advice. Vitor, what have you learned from this experience, having Carolyn there with you for this time?
He's asking you, what have you learned about having me here, other than I eat everything and
She enjoys eating. Okay.
We do have to share. We do have to share that you said before we went on the air that you're eating your way across Brazil.
Okay. What have you learned about having me here? And be nice.
No. Okay, she need to get a little bit,
Yeah, she needs to get it.
No, it's nice. Every time I talk for clients, and some clients say something like, "Oh my God, I need to learn digitize. I need to learn more." And every time I say, "Come here, stay 1 week, 2 weeks, learn together," because sometimes people spend a lot of money, maybe in courses, classes, but I think if you spend like 1 week or like my side every day, maybe is worth more than any class, because you hearing my side. So all the times I offer, you can come here, you have a bedroom, So Carolyn is first person say, "Oh, okay, I go to Brazil."
Yeah, I have all my kidneys. So it's all good.
I have 2 more to do that.
I have 2 recordings left now.
So I think it's very nice, because I know it's hard. One, because it's expensive ticket, and other is totally different country. It's Brazil, You put Brazil with Rio de Janeiro, São Paulo, and Blumenau, this area, south of Brazil, is very different from other parts of Brazil, If you come the city, maybe you take pictures and people think you in Europe, because it's very different.
Right.
And for me, it's very important to learn English, and like to show people, they can trust it, they can come, and if in future any person, okay, I go to Brazil to learn digitize. You can come, you have a house, and maybe have a nice time, some beers,
Yeah.
It's nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think it's the sharing
Yeah.
of how I do something, how he does something.
Yeah.
I learned
Yeah.
some tricks while I was here that I didn't know about.
Because we need milagres, we have short choice, 2 backings, and
yeah,
so you need make magic what I have. Yeah, so I
Right,
think
right.
it's that.
And when I explained to him, like, well, we have this, and this, and he's like, so I come here and I see 2 backing choices, and the embroidery coming out of the machine is unbelievable. That's all about digitizing skill and your tools. So I think that we've learned a lot exchanging how we do something.
Like this interview, no?
Right.
Never maybe possible if Carolyn not really. Yeah.
And he said he was worried about it because of his English, and I think his English is great.
It's a shame.
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah, very good, for sure. Yeah, Terry, I think we're going to have to find some embroidery company that wants to sponsor the 2 regular guys coming live to you from the Oktoberfest next year. So
I'm feeling it. Absolutely.
The last time, is that,
You would have a great time. You would have a great time.
I imagine we would.
Well, hey, we really appreciate you both coming on the show today. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we let you go?
Don't give up. If you're really frustrated, I know that people that are just starting, it's like it really frustrating. And so for the new people, don't give up. And for the people that have been doing it for a long, long time, learn something new every day. Learn something new.
That's excellent advice.
Yeah, learn something new.
So, where can folks find you and Carolyn specifically? How can people find out about your trip and your work?
I've been posting on my Strict Embroidery page on Facebook. Vitor has his your Facebook page, Vitor Digitizing, and he has his website, but he doesn't have that. That's pretty much business. But I have been posting on my embroidery page in Facebook, and it's just Strict Embroidery. And then I've been sharing a couple of things. I've been sending Christine from Enmart because she's my favorite person in the whole wide world. They always send me fun stuff to play with. So I've been sending pictures, and so there's a couple of things that are on the Enmart Facebook site. So I'm sharing that way.
Cool.
I don't blog. I used to, and it's like, you can only do so much in life, and that's just one of the things I have to pick up later on.
Understand completely. Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. It's been a ton of fun, and Carolyn, enjoy the rest of your trip, and we'll look forward to checking out all the pictures and hearing about all the great food.
Yes, exactly. Tonight's a big night at Oktoberfest, so if you don't hear from me again, come looking third bench from the
Gotcha. All right, we'll put an all points bulletin out. Nice. Awesome. All right, guys, well, thanks again for joining us, and we will check in with you again another time.
All right,
have a great day.
Thanks. Good night.
Bye-bye. All right, Terry, that was awesome. Ton of fun.
That was awesome, and we're always a little nervous when we have a guest from outside of the U.S. about the connections and things like that. But man, that went great.
Yeah, and our connections being in being in a hotel. So
anybody who's ever logged on to the internet in a hotel, you know it's like a roller coaster. So
all right, Terry. So when we were discussing the 2 regular guys on the road to Brazil, we may have something here. Andrea says, I might know somebody, maybe even a German machine company. Ooh, all right. The wheels are turning already.
All right. We planted the seed. That's awesome.
And Eric says, if you need a rusty German speaker to help out, absolutely. Eric Eric made this show today happen. It would not have happened without Eric. EricCampbell.com. You need to go check Eric out. And huge help today. Always a huge help for us here at the Two Regular Guys, Terry. But today was over and above. So thank you very much, Eric, for everything you've done to help us get this going. He's actually hanging out in the lobby, Terry, and I got the thumbs up. He was having some lighting issues too, so I chuckled a couple times along the way at some of his expressions. But Terry, before we kind of move on, I need to go back to some comments at the very front of the show that is not embroidery related. That I wanted somebody asked you a question, and I kind of skipped over it because it wasn't related. But just real quick here. Hi, Terry. I have a question. Should we charge repeat customers for the $20 charge for screen prep again?
Yes, because that $20 and that's what most of us call a setup charge. You still have to set up your press, and so yes, I'm going to charge that $20 because yes, I already have the film. Maybe I saved the screens, but what you're really charging for is the time involved in setting up the press. So you have to allow for that because there's a finite amount of production time you have, and the first part is setup, the next part is production, and the next part is tear down, and you have to make money throughout the entire process. So yes, I'm going to charge that $20 setup charge per color.
Nice.
When
Good. Okay. So this trip to Brazil, Terry, it's getting some legs. We've got a lot of people volunteering to join us. Christine Shreve said I could be a trusty writer for the trip. Eric's maybe somebody who's done some embroidery. Christine, yes, I know Eric writes, but he can do embroidery too. So, man, how many? I wish there was a bus or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think we're going to be able to road trip it like we do to ThreadX each year.
Nice.
How do you get across the Panama Canal? I mean,
yeah, we'll figure it out then. There's got to be something like that to do. So thank you, Terry and Aaron. That really helps me when you answer that question, Terry. So great stuff. Awesome. Terry, we're going to take a quick pause here for a word from our other sponsor, Equipment Zone, and then we will be back to close up the show. And I need to run over to a seminar here pretty quick. So
very good.
Here we go.
Also, if you're at SGIA, make sure that you go back to the food court area, and you'll see Equipment Zone has a fire truck, a very small, tiny Japanese fire truck. Equipped with an F2100, a Speedtreater TX, and actually printing shirts for the 9/11 Firefighters Fund, and it's pretty cool to see. And so make sure that you stop in if you're again here at SGIA.
Nice, Terry. I've got a wild and crazy idea for you. Why don't you take a picture of said truck and put that on the Two Regular Guys Instagram page? It's a little stagnant.
I actually took that picture yesterday, and I will get it up today. I promise.
All right. So Christine Shreve says international decorators with cookies. So become known as the cookie guys. So good stuff. All right, Terry. A couple other events here, real quick, before we close up the show here. Tomorrow morning, I will be having my usual Small Business Saturdays event on Facebook and facebook.com/AaronMontgomery.info. And I'm going to recap the SGIA show. So hopefully I make some good notes today and share everything that I saw that was new and noteworthy and go from there. So that's tomorrow morning. Those of you that are anywhere near Las Vegas and can make it to the convention center in the next 45 minutes, I will be presenting digital marketing, growing your business with social media and email marketing at 10:30 Las Vegas time here. So like I said, as soon as we're done here, I will be throwing all of my gear in my backpack and running across the street to the convention center. So that will be fun. What about you, Terry? What do you have coming up?
Well, first of all, I've gotten several texts from our buddy Hawkeye Welch, who's with Brother, and he also wants to see a picture of that fire truck. So, but October 27th, 28th, I'll be doing my screen printing class, complete screen printing class at Workhorse Products in Phoenix. November 1st, I'm going to be in Charlotte offering a free Epson DTG class. It's the day before the Charlotte MBM show opens up. So that's going to be November 1st. And then, of course, I'll be exhibiting with Equipment Zone November 2nd and 3rd. And the following weekend, I've got a jam-packed end of year, Aaron. November 10th and 11th, I'll be back in Chicago offering, again, my complete screen printing business course at Atlas Screen Supply. And you can find all of my events at terrycombs.com under tour dates.
Outstanding. Well, our good friend and producer, who we've talked about already, Eric Cagle, he has got some great stuff coming up in January at the ISS Long Beach show. He's going to be presenting 3 classes on embroidery and digitizing. Wow. So watch out for more details. We will be sharing them here on Two Regular Guys, but also, again, tune to his website, ericcampbell.com, and I'm sure there will be great information there. Terry, Hawkeye says, see you in Chicago.
Oh, very good. Yes, we have talked about getting together, and Hawkeye and his wife come over and we have dinner sometimes when I am teaching that class. And he reminded me that more often than not, he only knows that I'm in Chicago because I'm posting from the airport, so it doesn't give him much window to come out and have dinner.
Terry. Nice. All right. Well,
most
Terry,
of my
should we do 5
from
things?
The airport. Yeah, let's do 5 things.
All right. Terry, I'm sorry, it froze up on me 1 second. Are we ready for 5 things?
Yes, absolutely. Let's move forward. It's your turn 2 weeks in a row. I guess I'm going to be up next week.
Yeah, you better start writing on that plane trip home before you have your cocktail. All right, guys. 5 things that any marketing message must have, must in all caps. Hawkeye, I see too many things on the screen in front of me here. So anyways, number 1, it needs to have a clear headline that is speaking to your customers' needs, not your needs, not your company's needs. Number 2, what problem do you solve that makes working with you better than your competition? As we talked about with Vitor, he's going to do things that other people don't want to do. So his marketing message should include that. Number 3, you need to create a sense of urgency to act quickly. We are all very distracted, as I am all the time here. So I want to feel like, oh my gosh, I need to take action on this right now, otherwise I will forget. Number 4, making sure that it clearly comes from your company's voice personality. So even if you're having people help you write your marketing message, you need to make sure that it matches everything about your company and is the same over and over. Consistency, just like how we built the Two Regular Guys, Terry. It may have sucked at first, but 7 years and we're finally getting better. Number 5, easy to complete call to action that you want the customers to take. So make sure that your marketing message includes that call to action, that here's what I want you to do and here's how you do it, and make it easy for them to do it. They don't need to fill out a novel or 27 fields in a form. They need to put in their name and email address or something along those lines, or request a quote or whatever the case may be. So there are my 5 things, Terry. Hopefully that helps people create some good marketing.
Excellent. And I was just having a conversation yesterday with a company and talking about, if it takes too many clicks to get your question asked, then everybody walks away. It's a different world today. So your number 5 was certainly an excellent point.
Thank you. All right, Terry. Well, like I said, I've got to put on my tennis shoes and get across the street. So if you don't mind, let's just go ahead and close it up for the day. I really want to thank Carolyn and Vitor for joining us today. What an excellent conversation. Not only we learned a ton, but we also got to have some fun. So that's what we're all about here at the Two Regular Guys, a little bit of fun. So really appreciate them joining us today.
Aaron, and also, again, a special thanks to our show producer, Eric Campbell at ericcampbell.com. He did a great job putting the show together for us today. And we also want to thank our sponsors, the Specialty Graphic Imaging Association and Equipment Zone. And just want to say that we very much appreciate your support.
Absolutely. And for those of you that don't know Eric, it's ERICH, Campbell.com. And so Terry hasn't had a chance to throw out the E-Rich reference, but which he hates. But he's always a good sport about it. So he's always a good sport about it. So anyhow, Terry, next week, exciting. I can't believe it. We're already to Reggie season.
Oh my gosh.
So next week we will be announcing the Reggie categories. So I've already got my tie on today. I'll have to clean it for next week and get our tuxedos and ready. And we'll be announcing the categories, and then we're going to have some bonus content for you, Terry. We haven't talked about this yet, but we'll get through the categories. But bonus content, you're just going to have to tune in to find out what that is. So I'm excited about that next week.
Well, Aaron, as you said, put your tennis shoes on and off you go. And until next week, he is Aaron Montgomery. I am Terry Combs, and we are the two regular
guys.